Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world.
Good morning, Dr. Abati.
Hello,
I just love the way you smile. How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Fantastic. Good morning, Ayo. How are you this? Ayomide. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Oji. I'm doing great.
Perfect. Good morning, Rufai.
Morning. You asked at the start of the show when you came. You said,
Yes.
"What's popping?" Right?
What's popping?
Charlie Poppy.
You are too much. You know that you are. Well, all right. Well,
Pluto way.
Pluto way. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. The governor of Kogi State, Usman Ododo, has come under heavy criticism on social media after he prevented the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission from arresting his predecessor, Yahaha Bello. On Wednesday, the anti-graft agency had laid siege at the Abuja residence of Yahaya Bello in a bid to arrest him over alleged money laundering charges. But in an unprecedented move, Ododo arrived at Bello's residence a few hours after the siege and whisked his predecessor away. Well, let's take a look before we take some reactions. Well, social media has been awash with reactions. This seems like a movie, doesn't it? Well, the anti-graft agency, in a statement on Wednesday, condemned the actions of the Kogi State governor. Their statement reads in part: "The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission wishes to warn members of the public that it is a criminal offense to obstruct officers of the Commission from carrying out their lawful activities. Section 38 of the EFCC Established Act makes it an offense to prevent officers of the Commission from carrying out their lawful duties. Culprits risk a jail term of not less than 5 years. This warning becomes necessary against the background of the increasing tendency by persons and groups under investigation by the Commission to take laws into their hands by recruiting thugs to obstruct lawful operations of the EFCC. The Commission therefore warns that it will henceforth not tolerate any attempt by any person or organization to obstruct its operation. As such, will be met with appropriate punitive actions." Dr. Abati, I don't know who the EFCC is referring to as thugs, but I mean, I thought that statement was very apt at the time. Obviously, they were referring to the incident that occurred yesterday. I mean, I believe that Yahaya Bello will be arraigned today. But let me just take some more reactions before I come to you, Dr. Abati. This is from Collins, who wrote, "It is outrageous that those in positions of power would brazenly obstruct the operations of a law enforcement agency tasked with fighting corruption. This blatant disregard for the rule of law only serves to perpetuate a culture of impunity and undermines the credibility of our justice system. Governor Ododo must be held accountable for his actions, and anyone else complicit in obstructing the EFCC's operation should face severe consequences, including the risk of jail time. Justice must prevail. Hashtag corruption, rule of law." Dr. Abati, I'm trying to get accountability as well, together with Abati. Accountability is so important. Yes.
Very briefly. There are many dimensions to what is unfolding in Kogi State. There are principles, there are legal issues, there are operational issues, there are political issues. I'll try to run through them. Principle. The first principle is that nobody is above the law. The rule of law in Nigeria applies to everybody.
Yes.
And, any of the agencies that have prosecutorial powers or investigative powers can invite anybody. Number two, when you are a governor or president or deputy governor or vice president, you are covered by Section 308 of the 1999 Constitution, which says you enjoy immunity. The moment you are no longer in office, that Section 308 does not apply. So you cannot say because, you occupied a certain position, you cannot be, investigated or prosecuted. Number 3 is that the immunity granted under Section 308 is not transferable. And that applies to Usman Ododo. So when people say it was Governor Ododo who granted immunity to his predecessor, no, there's no such thing. You cannot transfer immunity. But the stories in the papers is that, it was the one that took the former governor out of his house. Number 4 here is the point being made by the EFCC that under Section, 38 of the Establishment Act, you cannot obstruct the work of the EFCC. In fact, it's not only the EFCC or the law enforcement agencies. Otherwise, you'll be guilty of resisting arrest or, obstructing the course of justice. That's that, about the principles. Now, the legal part. The other part of it is that, the former governor of Kogi State and the EFCC, they've been having a running battle in the courts of law. There was a 2015, early 2016 case, which was before Yahaha Bello assumed office, alleging that he was involved in the mismanagement of 84 billion. And you recall that the Kogi State government issued statements and went to court to say, no, Yahaha Bello was not even governor at the time they said he had a hand in it, and that how could he have mismanaged resources that he had no access to? So they were having back and forth there. So I think there was a case in court which the Kogi State government instituted, asking for an injunction, restraining the EFCC from investigating, arresting, or arraigning, former Governor Yahaha Bello. Now, Kogi State government got that injunction, but the EFCC immediately asked for the vacation of that injunction, but at the higher court, at the Court of Appeal. Now, that matter was to be determined April 22. So the Yahaha Bello camp is now saying, look, if there is a pending matter, the purpose of the injunction is, okay, return to status quo antebellum and allow the court, to determine the suit before you can proceed. I think the EFCC again went to court ahead of the April 22 when that matter will be determined to get a permission from the leave of court to again arraign Governor Yahaha Bello. So you have all of these issues. Now, the more embarrassing part of it is that on both parts, we have seen conflicting orders, from Federal High Court in Abuja, High Court of Lokoja, and, all kinds of interpretations. It's very simple. One High Court that has coordinate jurisdiction cannot act as an appellate court over the other. So they have all of that legal logjam. Now, I said operational, the concern of the manner of operation of the EFCC. So the question people will ask is that, what is this all about? If you have invited a man and he's saying you have cases in court, I mean, the EFCC also has lawyers who can take on the matter, not in a Hollywood-like manner.
The people that invaded that arrest, that assisted Ododo, were they DSS officials? And could they be arrested? That's the question out there.
No. What I'm saying is that Usman Ododo came there as a visitor.
I know.
Covered by Section 308 because he's a sitting governor.
But who aided, who helped him have,
No, he had access. The EFCC will not have studied. He was not the one they were looking for.
Right.
But after the fact, they are now saying, he's not covered, you cannot obstruct the arrest of a person because he left the place with, former governor. If the EFCC had tried to stop him, then that would have made the whole thing so messy. That's why I say in terms of operation, there are operational questions that the EFCC must worry about. Finally, the politics of it. Does this have anything to do with the politics of the APC? Because you recall that there have been some insinuations that Yahaha Bello wants to be a minister, Yahaha Bello wants to be chairman of the party, and then, of course, the bigger part of it is that the EFCC has just gone back to court to amend their charges, to change the date So it's like there is also a very new case. So it's a very serious entanglement. But, former Governor Yahaha Bello also does not want to put himself in an embarrassing situation whereby, EFCC will declare him wanted and, he'll be under pressure, to present himself because they can keep going to court, until the matter
Rufai,
is cleared
because
up.
we have so many stories.
Yeah, because we have so many stories. So I think you've talked about the legalese. Yeah, we can go ad nauseum. I mean, the Kogi State, when Yahaha Bello was even governor, then the Kogi State governor has even replied and saying the timeline for what they said he had done. It was even before he became governor. I think he officially resumed in January 2016 and all of that. And there's been back and forth. And they're supposed to hear the case on the 22nd, like you said rightly. But 22nd of April. But for me, the part I want to talk about is the operational procedure. I mean, if you have invited a man, why don't you wait for the man to come? All right? Or when you go effect arrest, do not have this Nollywood-styled shenanigan that goes on when you go to effect arrest. And also, the operational procedure that governors feel they have the right to come in with their own immunity to be able to bail somebody out. This has happened in the case of, I think, Nunia. We talked about it.
We talked about that.
This has happened also in the case of, if you remember, I think Justice Odili in Abuja. That also happened. In those two cases, it was Governor Wike that went out there. Also, this also shenanigan, not in the case of Nunia and what's it called now, and Justice Odili, but in the case of Okorocha, that his ceiling was broken into just to be able to pull him out, that was being streamed on national TV. I think to a large extent, EFCC needs to be able to sort out its operational procedure right. And secondly, EFCC, whoever is in their, media advice, should stop releasing all these veiled messages. Who were you talking to, Ododo? Don't make it a blanket, what is it called? Is it me that went to exercise immunity?
No. That's when you call a governor a thug.
No. Anyways. You were calling the governor a thug. Mention his name in there so that we know who you are talking to. And it speaks volumes of even them, calling people all sorts of names. Itemize the particular situation. And also, get your research right. Because we've had cases where EFCC will not go back to amend charges and do all of that and all of that. But there's another twist to it. Some people are also claiming that, the car was probably a decoy. That can we be able to prove beyond reasonable that the governor was even in that car? That's another twist to the conversation.
The EFCC left there and they have put out a
so we are hearing all sorts of things because there was another story to corroborate the fact that some news outlet was reporting that the governor's phone was sometime in Kogi and all of that. That how are they even sure that it was through the aid that they tracked him there to be able to go arrest him there? And also, how are we even sure that the governor was in that car? So we have a lot of, and this goes back to the political area, the political logjam as regards what's happened. But most of the time, the people that are always found wanting in effectively executing their operational procedure is always the EFCC.
Yeah, well, all right.
And I think that's one thing we should watch and look at.
Well, all right. I just know that, Ododo has really come under fire and he definitely should not have done that. It's against the rule of law. I'll take this story so you can discuss. But you know that there was that video that was circulating. It appeared that, they were on a private jet and all of that. If you can pull up that video. But that's an old video. But just to show that this godfatherism is here.
How coincidental that the governor was able to get to Abuja to the resident very quickly.
That was it.
That's interesting. Was he in Abuja? Did he happen to be in Abuja?
I love that question.
Because
you're supposed to be governing your state in Kogi. How long does it take to get from Kogi to Abuja?
No.
So, but there's private jets.
Normally, I think it will be less than an hour thereabout because even if by
governing.
Quick.
If governors can leave the business of governing to go and celebrate in the Caribbean,
Rufai, the violent guy. Well, all right. Let's take another story. Shall we take another story?
Stop it. I don't like what you're saying.
We'll take another story. Well, in the wake of the recent probe of the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El Rufai's 8 years in office by Kaduna State House of Assembly, the Speaker of the House, Hon Yusuf Liman, on Wednesday warned El Rufai's son, Bello El-Rufai, from threatening and intimidating the House. Bello, who is a lawmaker representing Kaduna North Federal Constituency, is the first son of Nasir El Rufai. Honorable Liam expressed worry that Bello sent insulting and subtle threat messages to him via WhatsApp over the probe of his father. In a statement on Wednesday, the Kaduna House of Assembly, in a series of tweets, wrote that shortly after the committee was established, Bello El-Rufai took to social media with 2 tweets, now deleted, calling for a fight and disrespecting the entire legislative arm of government. The screenshots of the tweets and messages have been widely circulated, causing concern among the citizens of Kaduna State. The Assembly went further to state that attempting to obstruct the law functions of the State Assembly, the Kaduna State House of Assembly wants to reassure the good people of Kaduna State that it remains steadfast in its commitment to serving without fear or favor, threats and intimidation from anyone, including federal lawmakers, will not deter the Kaduna House of Assembly from its pursuit of justice and accountability. The Assembly remains resolute in its mandate to provide checks and balances and uphold the rule of law in Kaduna State. You know I'm coming to you. I mean, this is a federal lawmaker threatening. The other time it was Nasir El Rufai.
Yeah, I was going to say that we're praising him.
We were praising him that he was
himself.
But now we are seeing.
So I think maybe there are levels to these things.
Yes.
So the governor, he would distance, but with a speaker that, according to that WhatsApp message that was screened, he was instrumental to him emerging as Speaker of the House. But let me say that when it comes to obstruction of justice or investigations, as we see, if it's not the governor coming to shield a former governor, then we have a son coming to defend his father, and even if it takes that, threatening members of the House of Assembly in Kaduna State that, for what they've done. And I think this is such a show of shame. And if you saw in that WhatsApp message, it was even saying you can screen grab the WhatsApp the message. It just shows a reign of impunity. Just the fact that you can do certain things and get away with it. I hope that the Speaker of the Kaduna House of Assembly will report to the IG of Police, especially because a threat was, in his claims, he was threatened. He had mentioned that if he comes to his ward, he would handle things. What are they afraid of? This is a big question.
That's the question.
What is former Governor El-Rufai afraid of? Why? They're not saying that they want to investigate. They want to ask questions.
No, they're not saying
the truth is that come out, it's just in the spirit of integrity as leaders.
I love
what
that.
kind of leaders do we have in this nation where you're not even willing to present yourself and have the opportunity to defend yourself as to how you spend the money of the people of Kaduna State? And instead, to be fair, the father has not said anything. Right. It's the sons who are fighting the battle of their father. Right. But it is a show of shame, and it is irresponsible, especially for a federal lawmaker. And I do hope that the people will question him, the people he represents in the
Absolutely. Well, they should know that no matter what, this probe will continue. If they like, they can send insults as much as they want. They must not be intimidated. The probes, and I love the probes will continue.
Yes,
we'll take another story. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, has explained why Nigerians need to return to the parliamentary system of government. Peter Obi made the comments at a lecture at Harvard Law School in Boston, Massachusetts on Tuesday, April 16th. The former Anambra State governor said that Nigeria needs a parliamentary system of government where the president can communicate with citizens at least once a month. Let's take a look before we come back for a discussion.
The presidential system has one president in Nigeria today. You have a bad leader, and he stays there for 4 years. While you have a parliamentary system, we can move a motion of no confidence within 2 or 3 years. And again, if we have a parliamentary system, the president will be a member of parliament. Today, if he elects me as president of Nigeria or governor, I can remove myself entirely from being answerable to the people. Just like a gang of lunatics talking rubbish every day. While if it's a parliamentary system, during the president's question time, he has to answer. He doesn't have to hire anybody to speak for him. A president in Nigeria can decide not to talk to anybody for 1 year. And nobody cares. Because he has hired all these people who will be talking. If you say anything, they call you name, they do this. So we need a parliamentary system where the president will be a member of parliament, will be at least one, even if it's once a month, answer the people directly. Because we didn't elect all these gangsters. We elected somebody. And we want the person to talk to us. Not talk to us, to somebody else.
Oh, Dr. Bassi, we don't need lunatics and gangsters. go ahead. Over to you.
Look, part of the attempt to find a solution to the crisis we have in our politics in Nigeria has been, interest groups, interested persons, politicians, saying that perhaps we need to take another look at the system of government. And that's why recently there have been contributions as to whether it should be parliamentary, which we had in the First Republic, or we should stay with the presidential system of government. This was also one of the major issues during the 2014 National Political Conference. So it's not an issue that will go away. Some people even recommend a combination of both. Some people recommend a confederal system. However, to go straight to the point Mr. Peter Obi was making, he was saying that, look, simply, that a parliamentary system of government will make room for accountability. Because if you are, the prime minister, you'll be a member of parliament. You are just first among equals, as they have in the United Kingdom. Now, he talked about spokespersons, although he didn't name anybody. He referred to them as lunatics and thugs who abuse you when you try to make a contribution. But that in a parliamentary system, the prime minister will be accountable for himself. We see Prime Minister Rishi Sunak during prime minister's question time. Yes. So nobody is coming to explain for him. He will be the one to explain. Absolutely. So I get that point, but Mr. Peter Obi is a presidential candidate. I mean, when it comes on people, lunatics and thugs who will abuse you, I don't want anybody to start imagining that they have lunatics and thugs in the Aso Rock presidential villa. Well, don't name anybody as lunatic.
He knows who he's talking to.
Don't be the one. Don't mention names.
He knows who he's talking to.
Don't mention anybody.
I'm not saying I don't know anybody he's talking to.
I think it was generalized.
He has left it at the level of innuendo. Just leave it at that.
But I don't think it's about the system of government.
Yes.
I think it's about the accountability that we have in government.
All right.
And the way it's being practiced.
All right.
The fact that you have presidential system of government, but they made electoral debate mandatory.
All right.
Why is it that all the candidates, top candidates, did not debate, even including this current president, did not debate in the last presidential election, and we allowed him sail through? So we need to make presidential debate mandatory and those conversations mandatory in the first place. So it's not about the system of government.
That's another advice.
Whatever
We'll
system of government is also about the human beings.
Yes.
All right.
The average Nigerian is problematic.
Yes.
So are we going to import people from outer space?
Well, Buhari said that it was easier to rule his cows.
Let me just say another thing is that
problematic Nigerian
questions. Let's hope the president or the prime minister will not allocate or assign responsibility to his ministers.
All right.
In the spirit of teamship.
I love it.
We can also have that as well.
All right.
Ask questions.
Good debate.
Well,
We'll take our final
ministers
story.
will be members of parliament. That's how it works.
We'll take our final story under entertainment. Popular socialite Pascal Ekechukwu, also known as Cubana chief priest, on Wednesday reacted to the 10 million Naira bail granted him at the Federal High Court in Lagos over allegation of Naira abuse. On Wednesday, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission arraigned the socialite on a 3-count charge of spraying and tampering with Naira notes during an event at Eco Hotel on April 13th, to which he pled not guilty. Following his bail, the socialite took to Instagram to boast that he has money to resolve the issue and also acknowledged his fans. Cubana chief priest wrote, "Seeing all your messages and love, I'm so humbled. Now it's confirmed. CP, no small. Money na water." In the meantime, Afrobeat singer Habib Okikiola, popularly known as Portable, has taken to social media to appeal to the EFCC not to arrest him over videos showing him spraying notes at various events. The singer, during a live stream on Instagram, said, "After God, now government, please forgive me if you have videos of me spraying money. No more spraying of money."
I use my money build love. We help a lot of people. Àwọn tí ó ní ní trenches. Tẹ́ bá rí mi tí mo dáwó ẹjọ́ ẹ dáríjì mi. Mo ń fún àwọn èèyàn ní. Money is my bouncer. Money is my security. Mo dáwó fáwọn fans mi ní ẹjọ́. Ẹ̀yin máa ń sìn mí. Lẹ́yìn ọjọ́ mẹ́ta yìí tí mi bá dáwó. After God na government yo.
Zazu, he's begging. Go ahead.
Just one quick point.
No, you have time. We have a minute. Go ahead, quickly.
Just one quick point for purposes of enlightenment.
Right.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
It's no excuse.
But I agree with him that after God, now government.
Now government.
They don't say, I didn't know, so forgive me. Well, so that's number one. Number two, some people have been saying, somebody sprayed money in 2020.
Yeah.
Why are they bringing that up? I think you raised that question.
Yes, that is my question. But also, Dr. Bati, this point you raise is very valid because there are so many other videos, including, I believe her name is the Iyaloja General of Lagos. If you can pull up that video. What is the way of spraying money? What is the actual reason or they have given now? But you see this video right here, it's been trending on social media. People are asking, how do you spray money? That's what I want to know.
Statute of limitation. Because Portable is saying they should forgive him if he did it in the past. The statute of limitation refers to the law itself, not the time of the law. And the relevant law is CBR 2007. So if they decide to apply the law fully, they will go even to 2020, even 2019. If you, Ojineka, spread money after 2007.
After 2000, let me think. I'm thinking about it. I don't really like
social media.
But I also made a point. You asked the question, what constitutes spraying?
Yes, exactly. What
That section 21 lists about 11 ways. If you abuse the Naira in any way, you are using it, throwing it around, and all that. So if you check that section, you will see all the various dimensions.
But like you said the last time, Bobrisky's lawyers have a right to go back to court with all these videos circulating now to see if they can,
we need to go.
Well, all right. I'd like to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.